All right. Well, here we go. Here we go. Hopefully, this is one of the trolls. Hopefully, it's Trumanati. Infinite Plane Society.
Hello, Tim. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Okay, I'm Zareth Shahara. I called you apparently about a week ago. I was hammered, and but all I wanted to say was, since you were calling out everyone to call you, I sent you a couple of texts, and I just wanted to let you know you're loved, you're appreciated. I love your candor. I love your spirit. And what you're doing, I've been waiting for decades. You know, as much as we talk about this all being a construct, I knew alchemically that one of the things that they were trying to avoid was by creating the scenario where we would come to a place where they could control us, that it might get out of control. And it's just something as simple as taking a look at the world around you, and that you have done. And I remember when Sandy Hook occurred, I was one of the first people to comment on Wolfgang's post that this is a hoax. And I started calling it Sandy Hoax. That was what, 2012 or whenever? Are you
Yeah.
still there?
Yeah, it was like 2012,
So I
2013.
imagine the last time I called, because I didn't even know I did. All right, that's how hammered I was with my neighbors. It was an attempt made on my life years ago, and they beat me about the head in some wet work, broad daylight, dead silence. No one knew it happened. I played dead. They thought I was dead. And then I came to, and I survived it. But it was at a time when I was speaking about the people that run the world and blah, 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 and all of that stuff. So Zareth the Alchemist, basically signed off a few years ago. And I just waited and waited and waited for things like this. I was telling people extraterrestrials are extraterrestrials. If you go beyond the summer's gate, there are those who live longer because their sun and moon take longer to go around Mount Meru or the polar center or whatever you want to call it, magnetic north, um, because they've been around longer. They're a breakaway society who many years ago left. So we're all stuck in all these mystery shows and all this bullshit that they're trying to sell us, wondering what's going on here when we really should be thinking outside the box. That's where consciousness should be going. And I agree with you completely. You are a gem. I know I listened to that last call I made you. Real sorry I sounded like Dice, drunk, as you said. But, I mean, seriously, I'm from Philly. And if a stupid little kid like me could figure this out, after many years of just pursuing something called the truth, what is the truth? That's all I want to know. And I've had supernatural experiences. I've had, as somebody who pursued alchemy, let's see, about 17 years ago, got into it and then discovered what orbitally rearranged monatomic elements are, in case anybody wants to go back on that. Look up ORMS, and the fact that ORMES or ORMUS means tree of life. You'll see that everything from that point forward is encoded in alchemy, including creating the mindset of the collective. So if you understand simple things like that, folks, if you're listening, you'll see how they use this to bake the situation. They create something well in advance, only because they're, I don't know, what's the word everybody uses, diabolical. So I don't believe in none of their nonsense. Most of it now I realize through all of my studies of the collective unconscious and whatnot over the years. You can look up my stuff. This is what I was trying to say to you last time. I think I hardly could listen to it. I was like, oh my God. I called Tim. I must have been hammered. But I was just trying to send you my love and my support, brother.
Oh no, it was a good
And
call. Actually, a lot of people were very entertained by it, to be quite honest.
you were quite aware. You are so sharp. You are so sharp. You went. Well, apparently that's Dice Clay and he's ossified or something.
Yeah.
And I went, well, thank God for covering for me. The fact is, that's another aspect. That's another aspect of who I am and where I came from. If I told you my life history, it would blow your mind. I was a casino dealer. I worked for the mob. I was a king crabber in the Bering Sea until I got washed over in the middle of the night. All of this stuff happened to me so I could see the truth. All of what's happening to your generation is, I would say, next dimensional awareness. These are the things where you start to see, like you said, I saw in one of your comments somewhere on a video, the ones and zeros are so common, aren't they? All of this is to lull you into that perfect place that they want you into. And as you said, and as others have said, I think catching on to your candidness, which is they just want to keep us within this pen. If we send our consciousness outside the Summer's Gate, now we're going to start contemplating 32 other continents. And one island that moves called Thos Island. Now we're talking about alchemy again. You know, Prometheus, which means forethought,
Yes.
and so on. So people start to understand that, like guys like Tim Osman, and maybe even me, I've had to contemplate, are extraterrestrial, not because we're from somewhere else, because we're from elsewhere on the earth, and we agreed to incarnate here and bring this awareness here so that we can expand the consciousness beyond the boundaries of what they're trying to construct. That is, that's our right. That's our right to do that. And that's why you and I are still alive. Although there's been attempts on my life.
Now, this is
You know?
intriguing. This is intriguing. Somebody remarks that this is similar to the concept of the movie The Giver. And,
Oh, you know, I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it, Tim. Thanks to you.
yeah, yeah,
You see
well,
what I mean?
that,
You're keeping me and you and your mindset, which is the collective that is plugged into it. Remember, when I said to you, I think, or kind of remember going, what do you call this place? The infinite what? And I had put in my identification when I put my name on Twitter a few years back because somebody asked me to, what do you call where you're at? And I said the infinite field. Because
oh,
this
that's
thing
awesome.
goes, it's like that video game, Minecraft. The further out we move, the more we're creating. What's been created before us. So we need to explore. We need to catch up to what's already been created for us. So we need to step outside that box. Fear for most people is fuck everything and run. For me, it's false evidence appearing real. Especially a guy who's been at the Bering Sea and was a king crabber and got washed over at night in January, Opelio season, and then saw the underside of a vessel that was about to crush me, and then everything went slow-mo. And I heard the voice within me saying, so this is it. This is how you're going to die. But that's not how it happened, because I wasn't afraid of dying. See, so I think people need to gather that thought, that if you don't fear dying, you don't fear the system, you don't fear this 1% who want you to believe that false evidence is real. You know, that's how it's always been working. I just listened to Crow 777 the other night when they were talking about the British invasion. I told people years ago, I go, the British invasion, that's exactly what it was. And I did all the LSD and the PCP and the THC and all of that, you know, to get outside of the box because I didn't like the box. And Tim Osman apparently has settled for this. He says, I want the truth or I don't want anything at all. And there are a lot of people behind you, brother. There are a lot of people, let's just say people's souls, who are on the other side of this. You might have so many views in one respect, but that's only here, and you know it's manipulated. But there are many others on the other side. And I can only tell you from, I've trained under a shaman, I've done psychic training at the Berkeley Psychic Institute, I've done animal communication training, I've done communications with, let's just say, I don't know how to describe it, but I would say deities. So once you get into alchemy, you start to see it all. And that's where a lot of this is coming apart for them. They didn't do the experiment correctly. It's not based on integrity, congruency, and truth. It might be according to the calendar, but it's not based on congruency. And that's where things start to fail. So, when we talk about the infinite plane, we're talking about something that is, more akin to the Matrix.
Yeah.
Right, brother?
What you said about how
So,
in another region their time might even be different. That's intriguing.
oh, most definitely. Think about all these things about how the gods live longer than all of us. If they have their own sun and moon, think about that.
That's incredible.
And what is an extraterrestrial? There's nothing alien in an infinite plane. So if you go look Zareth the Alchemist tweets during 2012 or whatever, because I was trying to help people get through that massive fear. And do you know December 21st, 2012 was really just, again, another end to a contract?
Now
That's
that's
all it was.
interesting. And so you said Zareth the Alchemist.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me.
A lot of people
And
in the
Zareth
chat.
Shahara was basically who I am. So you could see who all the comments were. I would get thousands of them over the years. If I did 3,000 tweets in 3 months as Zareth the Alchemist, I must have done tens of thousands over the years on the web, unless they've also edited them. And I've had other things that have occurred in my life that blow your mind. I've worked on 25 feature films, many of them Oscar-winning films and whatnot. So I'm not just your average guy. There you go. Thanks for putting that up, brother.
Oh yeah,
So I
yeah.
tried. I didn't know if they were going to edit me or not. That's me standing in front of Red Rocks. That's like the only picture of me on the web. It's the only one I ever wanted.
Incredible. It says I'll be discussing 2012 and beyond, alchemy, the New World Order prophecies, and self-empowerment in these strange times. And that's still 100% accurate for right now, isn't it?
And what does it say my location is?
The unified field. That is awesome.
There you go, brother. There you go. That's what we are. That's what we are. It's not where we are. It's who we are. So yeah, you can go through a lot of my shit if you wanted to, brother, but it would
Yeah.
take you days. But the point is, I just wanted to let you know, apparently, because I don't remember, because of the head injuries from the attempt on my life. I blank out, which is fine. Must have been part of my agreement, to come here, come to the center of this place, and be a part of this transmutation of mankind. You are an other me. So, yeah, you could probably see for the last maybe 500 tweets, I was really tired of this place, inspecting it. It's kind of like Agent, whatever his name was, in The Matrix when he goes, I'm just tired of the stink of this place.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So I can imagine how you feel, but you are a tenacious soul.
Hey, I appreciate it.
So
And the callers all
you're
remember you from
amazing.
last
I
time.
love listening to your genius. You remind me of someone from another realm. And by the way, so do many of the people who are on board with you. I read the comments. I can't comment. I can't even get on the thing because I'm on a mobile device. Or I'd be commenting because that's just my inclination.
Well,
I'm going to say it until you kill me. And that's how you are. You're so plugged in. I love your generation. I love you.
well,
And I love your sense of humor. I just want to let you know, you've got very powerful spirits on the other side that are behind you with all of this. They do not. Okay? This is not in a matter of illusion or wanting to desire to believe. Because if you believe the lie, that's what you're going to be and live. That's where the word comes from. So you feel, like I was saying, over the last 1,000 tweets, I was really tired of the system. before that, I was channeling a lot of information that I think that I knew one day when I said, I'll give my soul to this, Mom. What do you want me to tell your children? And this is what came through me. And so I did it. And then I went back to, as you say, Dice Clay, a kid from Jersey or Philly. You know, I'm born in Philly, though. Think about it. It was the first place where people went, you know what? How about we declare ourselves the sovereigns? How about we say we're the fucking king and the queen? Everyone born, not birthed, here is king and queen. Okay, fine. Now, if you come to my land, you're a king and queen too. This is making fun of their nonsense. That lasted for about 5 minutes until they figured out how do we codify all of these thoughts. Once we put numbers on them, then it becomes our law. And so if we can bankrupt them, claim them all as property, then we can put them underwater, and then we can manage them through admiralty law. Capital letters. I heard one guy calling not too long ago. He understands it, and he really did say, look, get away from that. But understand this. From the beginning, we had said, we're sovereign. End of story. And what did those conniving bastards across the pond do? They go, don't say nothing. We'll just act like you're crazy, because the Declaration of Independence was a contractual offer. You have 21 to 30 days to respond. If you don't, then it becomes law by acquiescence. So play nuts. We'll take care of the rest. And they did. And it goes on and on and on. A lot of people think we're a republic or we're a democratic republic. Fact be known, there's a third form of government with a different style. And it's mentioned a lot in the beginning, called the Republican, not the Republic, Republicans that we have now, but the Republican, which was feminine plenary. In other words, it comes from the people, by the people, and for the people, because we are the sovereign. We are the people. And it's gotten so diabolical that literally the first spelling of the word was French, sovereign, which means Superman, Sovereign, if you will. King of England, or his agents, patented or copywrote the word sovereign, Reign, to say, well, if they use that word, then they're still under my control. It's diabolical, man. And we're just in that age where we're starting to understand our creativity and, you know, our place in all of this. That they create it, they make it happen through us, to us. If we stop buying into it, you know what I mean? Like you said, Plato's cave. If we stop believing what we're seeing as a shadow of our own self. You know, one of the most interesting things I found about you about the beginning was the first picture you had was Atlas.
Yes.
In front of 30 Rock. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you understand that in the ancient mystery schools, they said, that's you. You carry all your beliefs on your shoulders, in your head. You're Atlas.
Yeah, when I figured out the flat Earth thing, I was actually more or less stranded for a time at a motel, and there was a replica of that Atlas sculpture, and I started investigating it, and I learned it was at 30
The
Rock.
Matrix, brother.
Yeah, and it occurred to me that, at the time I remember thinking Atlas Shrugged is a blueprint for a flat Earth revolution. It's all about shrugging the burdens they put on you.
Now let's go to the other side, beyond the Summer's Gate. Let's go to the Winner's Gate, where we all go. So this was all a part of it.
Well,
that's where fear disappears.
Well, I'm on a page here of yours where it says 2012 and beyond conversations with an alchemist, and it says here, understanding that the observer's affect and effect the observed means that this age won't unfold unless we enfold into this mindset first. And that's what I've been saying. We got to become conscious co-creators.
I know.
Until we do.
I know that. That's why when I heard you the first time, I went, that's why I said, you're the linchpin. And I really meant to say was the message that you deliver is the linchpin. But you are the one with the soul that's been encoded. Okay? You're the guy with very few views, but it doesn't take many, brother. Doesn't take many. Because this is like flatitis, which
Yes,
is the only known cure for globitis.
100%.
Okay? You see what I mean? So no matter who had the courage, when I first saw you delivering that message, and this is to my significant other of 25 years, I said, I want you to see this kid. He stands up in front of a city council and says, listen, I want you to know something. These people are ripping us off. All right? And I went, I love him. I love Moray. I'm going to adopt him. If he needs a place to stay, he's staying here. So because, it is really, I remember going out in Justin Harmon Square or whatever in San Francisco and telling these people, listen, I was on a bullhorn. I was one of the few people on a bullhorn there. Remember when they did all that Occupy thing and they were all speaking in echoes, if you will?
Yes.
I got the bullhorn and said, all right, hey, you guys, all you in your costumes, I want you to listen to this. And I'm talking about the policy enforcers for foreign-owned corporations, okay? What we now call police. But I also want you people here to understand something. You are not homeless. You're houseless. You're not being warehoused. Your home is America. That's where you were born. It's a landmass. There's nothing to do with foreign-owned corporations. You aren't a corporation. But if somebody asked me, are you this guy? And it's in all capital letters. I said, wouldn't it be true and a fact, which aren't always the same, that that person is dead? Corporation means dead speak. Wouldn't that mean that? And you're looking at some people who say, they're brought up in this world to be part of the system because they think that gives them security. I say this whole foundation is basically disintegrating. Okay? It's no longer integral. It is no longer part of our experience. We're starting to, if you would rather look at this like it's Fibonacci unfolding and enfolding simultaneously, then we are a black hole, as Nassim Haramein said, WHOLE. And so we're supposed to help them along. And by being courageous and stepping outside of the box and challenging the system and no longer cooperating in your own self-incrimination, then you say, what sin? What did I, this is all ancient brainwashing. And people are really waking up. And it's just a simple old 505-715-6669 for people to get out and speak about it. You don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to speak out when you do. So I'm old enough to tell you that I've been up against death numerous, like dozens of times. And I love it every time I have the encounter. I was listening to a kid not too long ago who was talking about jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, which is about 15 minutes of crow flies from where I'm at. And he goes, the first thing that happened was when I went over, I realized I didn't want to die. No, you don't. You want to see the other side of it. And imagine this. What if you incarnated agreeing that you would see it through to see the other side of this? Don't give up on this. I know you won't. But I'm saying to people who are listening, those are. Usually it's about 230 or 240 listening or watching you. At least to sign in. I'm always signed in. I'm listening, brother. Because I've been waiting for you guys. I've been waiting for this. It's apparent. And I think when I called you, I told you, from this place, you can see 10 counties. And you're welcome to come here anytime. Just film it. And I've already done the Google Maps on, we're talking 40 miles. distance as the crow flies, what I can see. And then I can see the Sierra Nevada. And so I shouldn't even be able to see those on a clear day. And you can see Mount Diablo and Mount Tamalpais, and it just goes on and on and on. All of the stuff that people never gave thought to, like you said, with the Duping Delight by Robbie Parker. That was like, damn, that woke me up. That's all it takes, brother.
Yep. That.
Tenacity.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like we say,
All right,
unflappable,
man.
meaning you just keep pursuing, regardless
Yes.
of the trolls and the conformists and the ones who wanna.
Oh my God, don't let them bother you. And
No.
you're a genius at how you handle them. You're actually an example to others how to handle them because they are ridiculous. I've dealt with them over the years with their comments back to me. And I had fun with them. I really did. But I gave up. Like I said about 213, I said I did my bit. That's it. I'm done. Love you all. But whether or not I come back on or not, it's all a matter of inspiration. I had somebody call me not too long ago. He said, "Hey, I saw you at a UFO conference a few years ago. Would you call me back?" I said, "Absolutely." So I called him back. He's never called me back. That happens a lot. Don't be discouraged. The word cortisone and the word courage come from the same place, the heart.
Yeah.
And heart is the earth. You think about it. Heart and earth are one and the same. And art, which I was watching you paint the other night, I thought, love this guy. Love this guy. He's just, he's an example to others. You have this in you. Do this. You could paint a penguin. I was going to do one out of bottle caps the other day. I just don't have enough bottle caps yet. So I'm going to have to drink some more beer. So, but the older I get,
That would be killer.
the older I get, I realize a foolish consistency is a hobgoblin of little minds.
Oscar Wilde, right?
So, yes, you're a genius, dude. I think it was him or Thoreau or somebody. I don't know. But you are well read. So, my friends who are listening, believe me, this man, he's not born to be your leader, but he's born to lead you in the right direction. Okay? I just want you to know that, Tim. There's a lot of people out there I really, really appreciate these days that did not exist 5 years ago. They have all woken up and said so. Me, if you and I talked in our private time, I would tell you some things that thrust me into the situations. And you would go, oh my God. Wow, dude, you really were like in the middle of things. And it'll blow your mind. That's why I would prefer you to come here than you and I talk on the phone. But when you go to run your marathon or whatever you're doing in California, just know that if you come to the Bay Area, I'll pick you up at the airport and we'll have some amazing discussions.
Yeah,
Since
actually,
I've had them.
the rocket
Yeah.
launch in August, I am going to be going out to Amboy, California,
You
and
mean the helium-filled balloon? Go ahead.
no, the one that, yeah,
Our
no,
rocket launch, an actual rocket launch.
the actual
Oh,
one.
that's an actual rocket launch, yeah. Wow, I've never seen one of them in my life.
I know, a true astronaut, and it's like ironic that the first real rocket we see is a flat earther who knows
As
there's
a
no
flat
outer
earther.
space. Yeah,
See, this is your perspective that I absolutely love, Tim. That you just cut through the bullshit. You just have a way of doing that, dude. It's a gift.
it's Fepe's
That's why I
beak.
recognize you as another messenger, if you will. Just
Awesome.
like, and the fact that you never got into alchemy blows me away because your mind is a product of it. It's the transmutation that pulls you out of the second and third dimension and puts you into the fourth dimension, which is looking back in on it. It's interesting. It's very interesting how this is all occurring because they, as Crow said, they try to use alchemy, to create future scenarios, and it's worked flawlessly for a long time. It's not working anymore. So
Yeah,
people are stepping outside the box.
we're the spell breakers, exactly. We're the ones
Yeah,
pointing out the emperor has no clothes.
we blow out the candles.
That's correct.
Yeah, brother. So let's stay in touch, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks
Throw
for
a mat.
calling. People love your call. D Marble here. Uh,
I love all you people. You're so brave with your wrenches. I used to be a doorman and I'm a trained bodyguard. Okay? There's always somebody out there better than you, but you guys will not let them into the room. And that's awesome.
yeah, exactly. It's quality
It
control.
is.
And the people in the room here are people who are really at the tip of the spear. All of them here. Jay
Yep,
Analyze, Helena
absolutely.
Phoenix. You know them. You watch the comments in here. You see how focused it
All
is.
the time.
It's a think
Yes,
tank,
I
as I
do.
call it. It's a think tank.
Yeah. Yes. And normally in past times when you hear those two words in one sentence, you're hearing, something diabolical. The Royal Institute of International Affairs, and so on and so on and so on, and all these groups. These are think tanks. So I had met, I don't know if you ever heard of Father Charles Moore, but I met him years ago, and he spoke to me as if I'm giving you a bunch of information. Maybe one day you're going to be able to use it. This is a man who worked 20 years under the Vatican reading ancient texts and interpreting them for them. So when he told me some things, I was like, wow. Wow, I never thought about it like that. Oh my God, that makes perfect sense. So this tiny little mystical guy kind of opened my mind to a lot of things, knowing he saw these metaphors. It's like him and I were wearing the same hat at a conference of 700 people. We're the only two people wearing the same hat. This was back in 2000 before he died. But imagine meeting somebody who's a librarian for the Smithsonian. Okay? That's basically what I'm dealing with here. And he told me all sorts of things, knowing that, one day his journey is over here. And he just planted those seeds. Those are the types of things I'd like to share with you, Tim. Because, regardless of what they feed out to us above ground, below ground, there's other information. And that's just always trying to keep below ground. So there's a metaphor to it. The more you bring this out, the more you put it into the atmosphere. Atmos meaning mind, like ment means mind.
Right?
Okay? The more you put it out there, the more it continues to spread. And to them, it's like wildfire. Truth is like wildfire. They're
Yes,
always trying to put the fires out.
it's the Promethean fire that you mentioned earlier.
Yes, the forethought of things, exactly. Yeah, yeah. In fact, I remember one time I did a dose of rhodium, a large amount of rhodium, back in 2000, I would say in two. And the first words that come to my mind when I did this were, I heard a spirit, and he said, kindly, gently, what do you want from this? And this is powerful stuff. This is alchemy. And I said, all I want to be is a healer. And I know that means to be made whole again. So I want to help mankind be made whole again. That's all I want to be, as a servant. And then my significant other, who also did a smaller dose of it that night, said to me, she goes, what does Prometheus mean? I go, why are you asking me that? She goes, I just heard that word. And I said, well, it means forethought in Greek, but it also has a lot to do with alchemy. And so this is the type of substance that you never go back on. You can never, it's not like you're doing LSD and you're tripping and you gather some insight and you come back to earth with it. This is something that stays with you the rest of your life. As point being is as you get to the next level, you're there. You're never going to go back. Why? Why would you? Then you get to the next level. 33rd degree is when your kundalini, when you've been able to train your kundalini to get up to the third eye, which is basically the 33rd degree. You have 33 vertebrae on your spine. You get up to the 33rd degree, and that's what you've done. You've claimed it back by saying, no. We all have the 33rd degree. And I just so see so many of these things that you do, and I go, God, I wish I was 20, 30 years younger. I'd move down there and go hang out with this guy and be his bodyguard. I would just go hang out with him and make sure everything was fine, just to see him get through this, you know? But, dude, like I said, there are more powerful entities on the other side of Summer's Gate that are watching this unfold. I would say it's an alchemical recipe. But at the same time, are waiting for us to, stand up and do our bit, which is to protect our progeny. We've come a long way, you know? So, however long that's been, I, like you, have found all the flaws. There's no dinosaurs.
Yep.
There's no destruction of the earth. There's none of this bullshit. In fact, there's a guy who lives in my town who created dinosaurs and became famous because of it. His name's Clayton Jackson. He's an artist. He created some kind of funky character that he alleged that he found underground. And this is a guy, I believe he was making fun of all of it. It's a little outside the box. But,
Oh, that's too funny.
anyhow,
And he passed it off, and they
yeah,
had to accept it because they're all based on BS.
you
That's
get it,
that's too
right?
awesome.
So I've spoken with him a number of times, but it's kind of like dancing around a mulberry bush. You know what I mean? He's out there, but he's very cool.
He tapped into the
But that's
dino
what you want.
racket. It's the dino racket, and yeah,
Exactly.
that's,
Another one. And somebody asked me not too long ago, well, why? I said, let me quote a younger man than myself. He said, it's just so that you would believe that quite possibly at any moment we could be wiped out. And she goes, that makes perfect sense. So that you've woken another one with your logic.
oh yeah, they
You know
teach
what I mean?
little kids at any minute a big rock can fall from the sky and wipe you all out.
Oh, yeah. Chicken Little. Heard that story, folks?
Yep.
These are all designed by these people. And they're minions. Remember, it's their minions in the think tanks. And it's sad for them, so we have to send them love. I've met many people who are SRA victims. I've been through a lot of stuff in my life myself. So we have to send love to them. And that is also a part of our strategy. You know, when we're dealing with trolls, send them love. You might say what you want to, which is sharp and acerbic and pointed and deserved. But remember, when we feel we deserve, we deserve sometimes. So we have to, and you are very, very, I don't know, just clever about that. I wish sometimes I had had that comeback because I'm from Jersey. Even today, some guy pulled up alongside me on the highway and gave me the finger. And I said, pull over, motherfucker. I'm way older than this guy. And I'm going, if you really think, you almost cut me off the road at 70 miles an hour on Highway 80 in Berkeley. So if you really think you're ready for this at 8:30 in the morning, pull over. I will never stand down from a challenge. And I thought, what are you thinking, dude? It's not like you're 25 years ago, but I will always stand up for what's right to the end, brother. And you will too. I know you. You signed up for all this. So I didn't mean to be the longest phone call in the history of your beautiful broadcast, but there's so much more, brother.
Oh,
So
but
much more.
no, I appreciate it, and the commenters are absolutely relating to and understanding what you're saying. And you
Well,
started off talking
they're
about,
way more intelligent than I am. Your audience is genius, and that's why I plug in every chance I get. They're genius, bro.
they do.
They
I
all
mean,
are. I love them all.
what comes out of this chat room is greater than the sum of the whole, and it's
You got it. You got it.
it it
Yeah.
it is really quite special at times. I recognize it. It's like I don't take it for granted one
Yeah.
bit. Their attention, their time.
And don't think that the other side ain't watching it and having it play on their consciousness as well, regardless of their programming, regardless of how they were raised. We have to include them. Remember, if you are an other me, they are me too. And so we have to think like an evil genius, but with love.
That's right. That's why I
You
say
see what
that.
I mean?
Like they built up this system with their whatever you want to call it, the tools that they use to build, like Masonic. It's all
Yes.
stonemason,
Yes.
and our
There you
wrench
go.
is our tool of deconstructing what they built. And
Remember the band Tool? There are so many clues in their music about all of this. That and their symbol was the wrench. It was
oh,
shaped like a
that's
penis,
right. I didn't even
but it
think
was the
about
wrench.
that.
Remember?
I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah. And they were genius in all of it.
I'm gonna take
You
another
know,
look at a
and
couple of their albums, especially the one I think it was called 10,000 Days or something, which had a
yeah, yeah. Beautiful stuff. Jimmy too. Like he's letting you know about like his relationship with his mom and Saturn and all of these things that are brought into our existence, which are basically constructs. These are all constructs. But that's how they create our life. Remember, a child is born, as someone once said, give me him for 7 years and I'll show you the man. Between the ages of 1 and 6, I learned from, you can go to worldsgreatesthypnotist.com. He was who trained me in hypnotism because I wanted to be a healer. I gave him the right answer. And basically said between the ages of 1 through 6, we're hypnagogic. So we are completely hypnotizable. We just came out of a womb of 9 months of DMT, and if you're like my mom, THC, MTA, probably PCP, and LSD. So I came out of that trippy environment into this one, and was so iconoclastic that I even sued my own parents at 14. And I'm way into my 50s now, and was emancipated in the 70s by a judge. So I was like one of the first kids in the country where the judge looked at me in his chambers and said, they're both pretty crazy, aren't they? I go, yeah, that's why I'm here. He goes, well, I'm going to emancipate you today. And I looked at him and I went, what does that mean? He goes, that means you're free to go once you leave here. He goes, thank you. That's all I wanted. And so that kind of helped. Isn't that what we all want? Freedom to think our own way, not to be programmed, not to be controlled by those who want to control us in order to control their own lives,
that
no
that
matter how incongruent they are, like the psychopaths who run the world.
reminds me of the movie Blade Runner, where the replicants achieve consciousness and they go to their creator and they basically say, "I want more life. Like I don't want to be on your program." They demand it. They
Hmm.
they demand.
Hey, do you know? You want to know the last movie, the last feature film I worked on, and I worked with 5 with Robin Williams, was Bicentennial Man.
Oh yeah, that Bicentennial Man. You worked on that. Okay, well that one, as you know, covered
Yeah.
all the same themes,
Yes.
same ideas.
Yes.
I saw
A
that one in the.
robot seeking his own consciousness, and he becomes human. He invents all these parts that makes him live longer and helps other humans, but they wouldn't declare him human,
Yep.
because he doesn't have a soul. That's the most important part. He doesn't have a soul. He may have consciousness and may have awareness, but he wasn't given that id entity, if you will,
The spark.
the spark. And do you know, here's what's really weird, bro. I'm going to share you some stuff with you. So when I worked second unit, I was a craft service guy. When you get hired on second day on a feature film, they do that on purpose. They don't want to hire you on day one because they don't want to put you in the credits. But I think I'm on IMDb with all of this. But they said to me at the end of the film, they go, do you want to stay in like another 6 weeks and do second unit? I go, sure. That means piece of cake. And I'm getting double and triple overtime and stuff. So I am standing there one day and they're filming all these skulls that look like Robin Williams' skull going by. And I said, hey, fellas, why don't you do this? Why don't you catch one skull, bounce a laser off it, and catch that laser bounce as if this is the one skull that is Andrew Martin. So if you watch the beginning of the film, you will see that one skull they follow, as if this is the one. This is the guy that changes everything. And, that's like a metaphor for us. There's going to be this one soul here and there And then you're going to get many gatekeepers who take you right up to the gate and go, yeah, but I'm afraid to go there. I'll take you up to here. I'll let you everything you need to know now. But, like Morpheus, the god of dreams, said to Neo, "No, I can show you the door, but I can't walk you through it." See what I mean? So Robin and me, we worked 5 films together, and we used to talk a lot. Talk a lot because we were both readers. Like to read books and stuff. And he was a great guy. Excuse me. Whether he faked his death or not, as many I believe have, he was still a great guy. He was always involved in charities and children who, make a wish. And if, everybody else is at lunch or in their trailers, Robin's out at the picnic table with 8 children who are dying of cancer. So he really was a good guy. He wasn't, just one of those typical, if you're taking my picture, I'm a good guy. This was a guy who was a good guy, but whatever the case is.
Well,
So,
yeah, I'm going to
anyhow, brother.
But you were, oh yeah, and about reading, you said he was a big reader. Foolish
Yeah,
Consistency,
he
The
was.
Hobgoblin of Little Minds. That's Emerson. I said it was,
Emerson,
well,
thank
it's
you.
Emerson,
You
yeah.
did. And I said Thoreau, I think. Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
you're a genius.
Emerson.
And so's your audience, because I'm sure somebody threw that in there.
Yeah, that's where I
So
saw it from.
just keep at it, brother.
Crowdsourcing the
Keep
intel.
at it, man.
Absolutely, and thanks for
So
calling. And
stay in touch, man.
I'll
Call
be,
me in your private time if you want.
yeah, I'll give you a ring when I'm over there for the rocket launch. It'll be something.
Yeah, it will be. Where's it going to be?
It's gonna be an Amboy.
South.
Yeah,
Okay, that's south. That's Southern California.
that's correct.
Yeah, probably going to make it because I've got commitments. But I'm with you in heart and soul, brother.
Yep. Well, I'll give you a ring when I'm en route or something. We'll see what's up.
Everybody else.
Thanks
And
for.
watch this grow. Watch this grow over the next so many years. If we could do this, I love the balloon launches from Southern California. If we could just stop that thing from spinning long enough for people to go, oh my God, it really is a horizontal horizon. Then they can start to ponder what's beyond it. You see what I mean? I don't know how he's going to be able to do that, or if we're going to be able to do that. But if they've been able to do what they've been able to do, and remember, I was at an age when I went, oh my God, Mom, we just walked on the moon. And now years later, I'm looking at coat hangers and tinfoil. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then you start to see the wicked side of it. And you go, these bastards, they lied again. So we're starting to wake up, brother. Thank you for your efforts. Just want you to know I'm here for you.
Awesome.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had a couple tonight, but that was because I had a long, hard day. And that's what I've sunk into, which is basically saying, all right, I'm going to sit back and watch. I did my bit. If they want me, call me. I'll be candid. This is what I agreed to years ago. And I shouldn't be alive already. I'm past the full date. And you joined the military. Odds are they wanted to just call you anyway. Am I right? Or am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it was.
You see what I mean?
It was a
That's
synchronicity.
what I think a lot of it was designed for.
Interesting.
It's just basically, yeah.
Like there's an initiatory path kind of set out before you if you take it.
Yes. Yeah, if you make this left when you should have made a right. If you zig when you should have zagged, we own you. And if you did it out of fear, like so many people join these forces, if you will, and it's out of fear of financial. But if they knew about the accounts and all of that on top of it, well, it'd be nothing to fear because you're only fearing an illusion anyway. You know what I mean? So people are starting to wake up to that too. And I just think it's an amazing time to be alive, Tim.
Isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't it? Isn't it, brother? Thank you. We come from the same place, all of us that are listening to this, honestly. Every night I plug in as much as I can. And then there was a couple of nights I had off, and then I'm sitting here listening going, Oh my God, was that me? I was hammered. And my neighbors get such a kick out of me because I'm the nicest guy in the world. And when I get drunk, I'm 5 times as nice as that guy. I'll do anything for you. Because I realize that my life means nothing without you. See what I mean? You know, if you were to be able to take all that collective egoistic energy and say, okay, I have all the money I want, and where I want to be in this world. Now, where's everybody else? Ah, see? So you'll step through that boundary where you go, you know what? I'm not just a tulpa. I'm not some kind of offset constructive tongue club creation in somebody's mind, which you're trying to push lately, by the way. You get that with Elon Musk, right?
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah.
trying to say, listen, you're just from some simulated universe and you're in a shut up, moron. You are at the end of your road. First of all, you know, I passed by probably 5, maybe 10 of these, what do they call those cars that he invented,
The Teslas,
allegedly?
yeah, the
Um,
Teslas, the
yeah, the Tesla. I see them all the time, and they drive around with a $150,000 attitude too. Like, you know, hey, I belong over here, and you should get over there, and all of this nonsense that comes with it. So that's a minority of construct. So in other words, for as many Teslas as you see on the road, that's probably as many as we are versus them in consciousness. And you don't see many. And I'm in the Bay Area, and I might see 5 to 10 a day. So in other words, if you're in Kansas, remember this, and you think you're in the minority because you have a grasp on truth, we far outnumber those who believe wholeheartedly what they're selling us, which is, you know, basically Babylon word magic.
right
A lot
Babylon
of,
word magic. I like that. That's what it is.
yeah,
It absolutely
yeah,
what it is. Baal worship.
yeah,
You know, they
yeah.
overlap the words, and yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's so twisted. But it's not working anymore. People are seeing through it. They're seeing the metaphors. They're studying etymology. They're breaking it all down. And then you see the clues on the other side of the etymology. Like one day, I don't know how many years ago, I saw that the word heart and earth are one and the same. So that means the divine feminine is within me. And the word art is in heart. So if I express myself through an art, be writing, speaking, painting, drawing, gardening, I am deifying myself, if you will, by saying I'm part of the divine collective. I'm not just some insignificant. And by the way, let me tell you something. There was a thing not too long ago for you folks that might still be listening that where somebody had put something on YouTube, and they didn't get it. They didn't see it. They totally overlooked it, which was there was a map given to the Chinese emperor in 1682 by, get this, 2 Jesuit monks that showed the globe for the first time. So they were basically trying to show the Chinese emperor the world is a globe. They didn't see it that way. Neither did a lot of other ancient cultures. They believed in the 4 corners. They believed in alchemy. They believed in, you know, transmutation. They believed in things that ran askew to circular patterns. If anything, everything moves in a Fibonacci sequence, unfolding and enfolding simultaneously, as Nassim Haramein said, who is also just a truth seeker. He doesn't have all the answers, but he does have peer-reviewed papers that validate what he's saying. Black hole, WHOLE, that every atom is a gravitational vortex. We are full of, you know, when they said heaven's in a mustard seed, okay? We have it within us, but somebody's trying to suppress it. And it's only waiting to emerge at some point. And I truly believe that it is predestined. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come in here. That's how I feel about it after all these years. I wouldn't have come in to incarnate into this experience of 99% empty space, holographic reality, if you will. That's where Elon Musk and them are stealing the truth of it and trying to deal another aspect, which is, oh, you're just a simulation. No, no, no. I'm very fucking real. You might be a simulation. Okay? Because they say the Matrix has the ability to do that. Has the ability to, I'm researching conspiracy theory videos and all of a sudden a black chopper flies over my house. Now, is that just a computer system monitoring what we do? Or is it the Matrix way of all of a sudden going, thump, 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 thump? See what I mean? So it's like a dream. As I said to people, so, you know, what's the difference between a dream and reality? Well, your reality is 99.999 times 9 empty space. A dream is 100% empty space. What's the difference? 0.000 times 9 ones. So when you wake up, the nightmare ends. And the true dream will begin. All those nasty characters may just disappear. I know a lot of them are starting to fall off already, you know, but I don't believe in heaven or hell or any of that nonsense. I believe we're in an experience, and we all come from the same place. And there might be this ad infinitum, what do they call that? When you quantum jump and you're in this ultimate reality where if you don't like this, you could jump to that. No, no, no. I'm not leaving anybody behind. I'm staying right here until this one is fixed. And when this one is fixed, then maybe they'll all be fixed. That's what I love about your spirit, Tim. And a lot of people who are people's souls who are, you know, on the same path, if you will. Let's change this place. Let's not just bail and go, well, it's better for me if I just kind of put my mind over here. See what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Like I see a
yeah,
sense of urgency
you are
here.
committed to it.
It's
You
like
are so committed to it, yes.
we're calling out fire in a burning theater. It's not a
That's
hobby.
right. Yeah, it's a prerogative. No, it's not. It is an obligation.
Yes, that's the word I use.
It's your duty. Okay, cool. Because sometimes I miss your shows, but
No, that's
I
what I was
listen to a
thinking.
lot
I
of
was
them,
thinking
brother.
about. I was like, if you have this information and you know what we're
You
actually
must
in,
share it.
and you
Yeah,
look at who's the architect of what, like you look at what Elon Musk is designing for the future, and you're like, okay, well, the only thing
yeah.
between that nightmare is us. You know, we're the only thing between that nightmare and the innocent
That's
people
it.
who haven't been
You
born
said
yet.
it. You said it. We're running out of time. That means they're amping up their schedule because they, and as many have said in the past, these are their death throes. How far will they go? Well, we have the ability to shut them down. If Aleister Crowley can walk behind a man, and I've done this, and make him fall through mind control, which you can do. I mean, we're all capable of this. And we are able to stop this dead in its tracks. Very, very small numbers. If 12 or 13 people get in a circle because they know something that the masses don't, and they can create a possible future scenario if they believe all the elements are in place, that they follow all the steps and gone through all of this nonsense. And by the way, folks, just let you know, there are no demons out there. When you hear this thing about letting demons in, you should hear the rest of this sentence. Letting the demons in you out. Because Socrates said, know your daemons, and you'll know the universe and the gods. It's you. You are Atlas, holding up the world on your shoulders, which means in your head. And if somebody else owns your head, then they're living there rent-free, and they're creating the future they want. So you have to pass the acid test, the one that they designed to keep you in the box. It's all a test. Honestly, I don't want to make it so trivial to say it like that. What I'm saying is ultimately, It's subjective. Some people hear exercise, some people hear extra fries.
Yeah.
What are you focused on? Excuse me. So the way I see it is, wisdom tells me I'm nothing, love tells me I'm everything, and between the two, our life flows. Okay? So I'm here for you, brother. Just know this, you know, and there are many others like me who have decided, I believe, in the last so many years, because I know a bunch of them, to just turn it off. They just turn the volume down, and now they're watching the show because they know what they started is constantly unfolding. And I know I was a part of the past, and that's why I feel responsible to a part of our future, because I stepped out just like you did, just like you all are, and said, you know what? I don't care. I want the fucking truth. Why? Because I want my progeny to live in a free world, even though it was designed for me to be a little different. What did they sell us for the last 20 years? Blue pills, right? Viagra. Somebody brought it up in a conversation tonight. I said, yeah, well, you mix the red pill and the blue pill, you get a purple pill. Hopefully they'll put you in your third eye while you're having tantric sex, because that's where you want to be. That's where I was. And that's how I learned about a lot of this stuff, was just like, wow, don't be afraid to take it to the extreme. When I was king crabbing, I literally thought, this is where I'm going to die. And when I was under the boat, I had the thought, so this is it. This is how you're going to die. And everything was in slow-mo. And because I was so cool at it, I realize now, looking back, I was in the heart space consciousness. No space, no time, no fear, nothing to fear. And then with that, everything sped up. Bam, I got washed out under the boat by the next wave. My buddy grabbed me. All three guys wound up getting me on board, and they all looked at me in the galley like I was a ghost. You should not be here. January, 30-foot seas, middle of the night, Bering Sea, iced up boat. What are you doing here? And I was like, you know what, fellas? In the shower, I realized dying's no way of making a living. So I'm going to go out and do something fulfilling with my life. I thought surviving the odds of the most dangerous job in the world was enough. It wasn't. It was somebody else who's kind of guiding us, who said, no. Okay, you just passed the test. Now I'm going to put you out in the real thick of it.
That was like a baptism.
Yes. In fact, it's been described as such. And I have, in public conversation, said to people, in front of an audience, said, listen, you want to talk about metaphors? Check this one out. I used to work for the mob a long time ago. I'm not Michael Franzese, but I worked for a guy who was a psychopath. He was well known. He was one of the top 9 family people. And I got through that. And now I'm in the middle of the Bering Sea. And I said, do you know that the last line of caulk on a sailing vessel for thousands of years was called the devil? Because if you went over the devil, you went into the deep blue sea. So if you crossed the devil, you would probably die and wind up in Davy Jones' locker. So one night in the middle of the Bering Sea, I crossed the devil. I went overboard. And it's as if the next wave that came along washed me out from underneath. That would be Mother Nature. And it would be like the hand of God when my buddy grabbed my skins, saw me in the water when he got washed to the rail himself, but not over, saw me, grabbed me, and hung on for the next 2 waves until the third wave, when all 4 guys were in a huddled mass on the deck. And then all the water you breathe, when you go into the Bering Sea in the middle of the night, it's 34-degree water. Yeah, I didn't even realize I sucked in 2 full lungs of ice cold water. Because when you go in, you go, and all I knew was everything went slow-mo. And then I had that thought, so this is it. This is how you're going to die. I was cool with it. And it's probably why I didn't die. They asked Fox Mulder, what was his name, David Duchovny? They asked him one time, so when you studied with the FBI, what was the most amazing thing you learned, in order to train for this show? He said that when you get shot, you don't have to die. So many people believe they have to die. And I think that's part of the alchemical teachings, which is just because they have us on a clock doesn't mean you have to die. And you notice people are living longer. That means we no longer are believing the lie. And imagine, as I said, outside Summer's Gate, if the sun and the moon or the solar and the luna as well belong over there in their own realm, then they must live longer. And so you get all these stories of the gods, and maybe we're just graduating into our passing through the Summer's Gate. Do you know the Golden Gate? That came from alchemy too, in ancient Egypt. When you reached that ultimate state and you were in the king's chamber for your 33rd degree of initiation, and the priest banged the sarcophagus of the flesh-eating box and walked out and left a tone in the room, and you were there, you went out of body for 3 days on the kundalini of a living creature called the Great Pyramid or the Fire Within. And you were out there, and then you came back willingly with all that wisdom. It's where the story of Moses going to the mountain, coming back with white hair and being so wise, and all of this came from. And they worshiping a golden calf. And what are we going to eat, Moses? And he said, I'll get you manna from heaven. And so that was all part of the alchemical process of cooking up on the mountains, where they would transmutate gold and silver and brass and copper and nickel. And you see all of this mentioned in this so-called authorized Bible. When would a king ever want the people to know the truth? Come on, people. Okay? Why would he authorize a Bible? To hide all of the truth in code. Okay? So it's not holy, it's holy. Holey. There's a lot of holes in it. I believed in it for years. I studied Aramaic. Talk about a kid from Philly who sounds like Dice when he's been drinking. Here's the Aramaic Lord's Prayer. Abunde basmaya nekare samotete mokuta. Nekwe sabiana ikana de basmaya afbarha. Havlan lakma tetsunkanan yomana. Waspoklan kalbain waktahin ikana defkanan shwakanel kayabain. Wela tatlan menasuna ela patan minbisha mito de lakin makuta wahaila watesputa lahalam amin. Amen. And the only word we ever got out of the so-called Lord's Prayer, I was an altar boy, then I became a Christian, then I became an agnostic, then I became a guy who realized they told this story not only 5,000 years earlier of a kid who was a virgin, born to a virgin, called the rock, crucified and all this, but then they told us 17 other times before we ever hear of little Zeus or Jesus or Jesus, or the fact that Israel is the ancient Khazarian word for Saturn. And it goes on and on and on. And as all these things started unfolding, because I wasn't afraid to look into the eyes of a black cat. I wasn't afraid to look into superstition. As you say, weaponized superstition, which I like, because that's what religion is. You know? So, brother, I didn't mean to take up so much time, but I meant to make up for lost time between the last time I called and now. And just let you know that, you know, we're out there. There's those of us who are preceding your generation that are encouraging you in quiet ways. It's the only way we can. But then guys like me who, well, they know who I am, bro. Put it like that. There's been an attempt on my life already. I've been threatened, all of that shit. And I don't care. And they know that. But, you know, that's just who I am. That's who we are. Because it's time to change this. It's time not only for our children, but what about their children? What about the shit they got to go through? This diabolical design. And by the way, you can only trace this shit. You know, and they go, oh, well, our bloodline goes back 5,000 years. Bullshit. Adam Weishaupt means first wise man. Okay? You mean somebody was actually born with that name? You mean to tell me he ain't a construct like, let me give you a few other constructs. How about this one? Robert Johnson went down to the crossroads. That's a construct. That didn't actually happen. It's all bullshit. All right? How about Paul is fall? Another construct. that, Beatle Bill is Paul McCartney, but the original Paul died in a car wreck in '66. You've touched on a lot of these. So if you start to, you know, pick apart all of this, it's almost as if they want us to do this for their salvation as well. Remember, it's 99% and 1%, and they're inbred psychopaths. So their only salvation is us. They just continue to spiral downwards. We're continually evolving in a direction that moves us into another dimension. You know? All right, brother. That's all I got to say for tonight.
Hey, anytime.
I
Hey,
just wanted
thank you for joining
to say
us.
I love
And
you all.
yeah, I'll be in
Yeah,
touch.
I
And
love
since
you all.
since you've jumped on, we went from 240 to about almost 300 people listening, and you've got everybody hanging on your every word. And
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
appreciate
Thank
you
you,
calling.
brothers.
And
It's just a matter of channeling what comes through your heart. That's all there is to it. Don't be afraid to walk up to people like I do in Berkeley, California, and go, by the way, this place is flat, right? And somebody come up to me the other day trying to sell me buttons on politics. And I went, come on, dude. Really? You're out here to educate people on elections? Okay. So what about the Electoral College? You know about that? Did you know that when they set up this nation, which is a foreign-owned corporation, they said the sheep are too stupid to vote for their own slave master, so we'll put it in for them? Don't you remember that? And he's looking at me like, oh, yeah, the Electoral College. Well, they did. I don't know. You got to understand something, bro. Your vote doesn't mean anything. Nothing. In fact, if you're truly sovereign, you don't vote. You elect. Okay? So, start to get your shit together on this little message here so that you can give people the truth instead of just passing out buttons to go, Bernie got burnt. Hillary is better than this guy, or this guy is better than that guy, and they're all related to each other, and they're all, mental defectives, bro. So I just walked on. I've told the other guy said something to me in Berkeley, and I said, you know what? We're done here. Because he kept trying to bring back the old nonsense. And I said, I'm trying to help you move forward. We're done here. And he just literally walked away. It's almost like the agents of the Matrix come up, they check you, they test you, and they go, well, he's not my audience. I just have to go away now. And that's exactly what it did. And I just kind of pointed at him going, I wasn't really done with him yet. I was just, just kind of pushing him in the right direction. It's just, you don't want to argue with me, dude. I might look like the kind of guy that's an easy pushover, but that's all a mask. So I'm waiting for confrontation. I'm waiting for people to challenge me on shit. And as I said to somebody tonight, do me a favor. Prove to me it's a globe. I'll take you up the top of the hill here, 3 minutes from where we sit, and I'll show you 45 miles of straight flat earth. So remember, when you're in Northern California, you want to see something interesting. I wasn't put in this perspective for nothing, brother.
there are no coincidences on flat Earth.
Only what coincides within us. Full red pill, brother.
Exactly. Full red pill or GTFO. 100%.
Okay. Many blessings. Love you.
All right, we'll talk again. Hey,
See
thanks a
you.
lot for calling. Have a great night.
Right on. Okay, you too. Bye.
All right. He started off the call talking about extraterrestrials, which a couple of days ago. Let me see if I can pull this up. So I got an email from somebody who was interested in one of the chats we had one night when we were talking about science fiction, about science fiction for a post-globe society where we're not thinking about it within like space balls, spinning balls in space, or aliens, but about what if there's something just beyond what we're referring to as this border, right? So I got an email, and I'm just going to read a part of it. This was from an animator, and he says here, and they're talking about the cartoon. It says here, we're reimagining the original Transformers cartoon We're presently working on an episode which says well, we plan to introduce the flat Earth concept as part of the vital plot point. Megatron gets thrown over an ice wall at the end of which happens to be in Antarctica. So we're going to use that to our advantage and introduce these concepts in a funny yet purely truthful and comedic way. Flat Earth will become part of the show. At least that's the plan. So to this end, and anyway, he goes on explaining here's some samples of the work. We would like you to call in and talk about why um, or how this could work. Anyway, he basically is looking to talk about flat Earth fiction. And remember, it was about a week or so ago I said, hey, let's have a live stream dedicated to nothing but just kind of ginning up ideas on what flat Earth fiction would look like, or flat Earth science fiction. And so I'm going to be speaking to this person who emailed about this once I've gone through the rest of his portfolio. But I thought, man, that's intriguing. And I was just thinking about that, and that's what he just started the call about. Was this would be, and here's a link if you want to learn more about the person who just spoke. Zareth the Alchemist is what um, you'd find him on Twitter. Here's a link. But he was talking about extraterrestrials as being outside looking in, more or less. There's the link. And he noticed something else too. 10 minutes before he called, I was on the phone with Political Hillbilly. We were flooded with trolls. A lot of trolls, really nasty people, right? And it was like, I lost count. It looked like we had taken out 30 of them. Well, then he shows up and we talk for an hour, and there was virtually no trolls in here. It was just like, what the heck happened? And it was almost like they were, I don't know, repelled or something, whatever it is. But the topic though about science fiction is one that I want to kind of get back into, maybe very soon. Flat Music says an OBS is a record option as well as a stream option. Yeah, there is, so you can actually use it when you're not online and record stuff. But exactly, Mickey Valley says if they are, they would be on the same plane. Yeah, so you'll get some people who will scoff at the idea of infinite plane, or they'll scoff at the idea of um, nearby other regions, but it's no different. It's actually more likely than saying interdimensional or parallel universe or infinite space.